everybody, it's Romania Black, and we're on the penultimate episode of season 2 of DanDaDan. Whoo, and there's a kaiju. So I'm pretty excited to see this episode, to see what's going to happen. How are Okarun and Momo going to handle a kaiju with Kinta right there beside them? What about Gigi and Ira? Are they going to get involved? Probably. So how's that going to work? So, and then what are we going to be left with for the season finale? That's the big question. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited. The one comment I have before we start is from Raziel over on Discord. Raziel sees a vision. Usually I'm the one that has to purport the crack shipping, the shipping at hand, but Raziel has a vision. And I believe in this vision. Raziel says, for some reason, I want Ira to end up with a new nerd boy. I can't think of a reason why this would work, but I want it anyway. Go find your own nerd. Leave Momos alone. And you know what? I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because there was so much going on in the discussion at the time that I didn't get a chance to say it. But no, I am 100% on board with this. I totally feel... At first, I wanted Ira and Gigi to be a ship, which could still happen. But Gigi is so different from Okarun and is not like him at all. And Ira seems to like Okarun's type quite a bit that I'm like, I don't know. Although Gigi is super kind like Okarun, so it could still work. But, Kinta is kind of, sort of similar, but his personality there's lots of possibility. And I kind of love the idea of Ira and Kinta being the Bizarro World Wario Waluigi version of, or whatever. I guess it would be Daisy and Wario. I guess Ira and Kinta would be the Daisy and Wario to Momo and Okarun's Mario and Peach. I guess that would be it, right? And then Gigi's just Luigi. Gigi is Luigi, bitch, and just needs to go find Bowser somewhere, I guess. We're not going to get talking about Mario ships today. But I'm super excited. It's a penultimate episode. That means we only have 1 week left, and then we're caught up with season 2, and then Romania has to wait for season 3. And that's going to be... I was spoiled. I didn't have to wait a long time in between season 1 and season 2, and now... I'm going to have to wait, and that's going to be a not fun time for Romania. But anyway, thank you all so much for your kind words and your comments. Before we get started, I do want to give a massive shout out over to my Patreon, to our philanthropy tier. There are 4 different tiers on Patreon that you can join if you're interested in supporting the channel. The cheapest one is $1, where you get to be on the Discord and talk about the shows, as well as vote in the polls to see what I'm going to watch next. There was a poll that is, as I'm recording this, going on to predict the show that's going to come after this one. By the time you watch this, though, that poll will be over. And then there is a $5 tier where you get to see everything a week before everybody and do the polls and do the Discord. And then there's the commission tier that's like above the philanthropy tier, and that's really, there's only 4 spots per month to commission a special movie for me to watch or something else similar. But the philanthropy tier gets all the perks of the others, along with they get to do tie breaking. We've had a couple ties and polls, and the philanthropy tier gets to break those ties, and they get a shout out in my videos to show support and thanks for being so kind. So I want to give a shout out to Alex Cornejo, to Be Happy, to Bisa, to Dana, to Damage3245, to Devorin, to Destiny Marie, to Ichu, to Eric, to Fisho, to Ghostly Turnip, to Elfreya, Lyndon, Liam Posel, Matthew Palfinier, or Murphew, Mochi Kun, as well as Willie Morris, Translucent Men, Sunspots, Shimoyama, Daniel, and Dawood Knight. Thank you all so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, my throat is a little bit rawish because I had something happen over the weekend where I had to yell a lot. It was an event, so my throat is rather sore, but not like sore throat. It's just a little bit hoarse. So I'm going to do my best with that. But in any case, I'm excited. I hope you all are as well. We are going to start episode 23, aka episode 11 of season 2 of DanDaDan. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1. Man, after that episode, I had to go get myself some tea. What a good episode. That episode, it was a mixed bag of things, honestly. There's parts of this episode I really, really liked, and I want to talk about that with you all. But yeah, so it's a kaiju that's also a space kaiju. So again, the cross between, is it an alien, is it a kaiju, is kind of like up in the air, like, well, it's something. But what's interesting is we've got this whole thing about the glowing eyes. The Keto family had the glowing eyes. The aliens have had the glowing eyes, but the Keto family have been on Earth. So again, I don't want to know answers related. We'll find out in the plot later, I'm sure, but it's fascinating to see the Mongolian death worm, the Keto family, them all having these glowing eyes, and then the kaiju does as well. Lots of Godzilla references, lots of fun stuff. I really like Kinta. I really like Kinta. He's such a fun new character, and he's just really fun. And what I like about his character so much is he's kind of the fish out of water because he doesn't have superpowers. I kind of honestly, after watching this episode, I kind of want the kaiju to just be a villain, an antagonistic character they have to defeat. And I kind of want Kinta to not have powers. I want him to kind of be like Momo in the sense that he's not connected to a yokai, but I want him to kind of just be the fish out of the water character with the group that's kind of the quote unquote straight man that is just kind of reacting to everything, because it's fun to watch him react to things. It's fun to watch his reactions, how he interacts with people, how he responds to situations. He's just a lot of fun to watch and see how he's going to respond. And he's kind of like the audience surrogate in a way. And I just really like his character a lot. I really do. I did not think I would like Kinta at all from when we were introduced at the end of episode 9, but I really like him. So we have the kaiju. I like that its body is kind of this accordion looking thing, which part of the Keto family, when the Mama Keto transitioned into that version of her true self, kind of seemed like it had the accordion body as well. So who knows? But the big question is, I guess they said Seiko was at a TV event. So conveniently for the plot, away from everything, which I would love for her and Manjiro to show back up and be like, well, this is what's happened to the house. But yeah, Kinta holds his own. He is able to hold his own alongside Momo and Okarun, and it was really cool. The music in this episode, the music was top notch. I loved the music. DanDaDan gets a color scheme going. It's all greens and neons this episode, which is fun. But the music was really good. I was like bobbing to the beat a few times. Yeah, an alien, a space kaiju with laser beams, y'all, firing its laser. So at this point, in all honesty, I don't think I'm shipping Ira and Gigi anytime soon. Poor Gigi. Mm-hmm. Gigi just gets put to the wayside in this season. I think that's been the biggest surprise for me. I really thought that Gigi was going to become front and center, especially like episode 2, when we first got introduced to the Evil Eye. When all that went down, I was like, okay, season 2 is going to be about Gigi and about Gigi's struggles with Evil Eye. And no. No! Gigi is like, they've just taken Gigi and been like, you're a goofy character, over here you go, and just got him out of the way. And honestly, Evil Eye not fighting the kaiju in this episode is insane to me, but maybe Evil Eye is just gonna be played for jokes. Evil Eye is just gonna be a comedy character until the mangaka can justify that Evil Eye's been in Gigi's body long enough to be contained or tamed or used or whatever. Then they'll have like probably a dramatic shonen moment where it's supposed to be tear jerky and Gigi and Evil Eye are now going to work together. And I know how the song and dance goes because it's kind of formulaic. And I'm surprised because DanDaDan is usually kind of goes against the formulaic side of it, but Evil Eye's been the one side of it that I've been like, kind of like squinting my nose at. So I don't know. I'm not an Evil Eye fan as you probably guessed at this point. So I'm like, which is kind of why I'm glad that Kinta is kind of here, because Kinta has kind of filled in the gap that Gigi isn't filling right now. So again, I thought that Gigi and Ira would become a ship this season. No, I'm more rooting for Ira and Kinta now more than anything, which is funny. And I feel bad because I like Gigi a lot. Gigi's a sweetheart. It's just him and Evil Eye are not dynamic enough compared to the others, in my humble opinion. And I know people like Evil Eye and they will disagree, but you all are probably manga readers and you need to not spoil me, so stop. Let me cook. Let me sit on it and simmer until season 3, basically, which who knows. So anyway, I do love all 5 of them when they're in shots together. I think they work well. I honestly did not anticipate. It makes sense now for Gigi to be the one to run off with Kinta because he's the fastest. He's the soccer player. He's got the most strength. I thought Gigi would be the most apt to handle the kaiju, but I like what we end up getting with the kaiju and the Buddha so much better. That part was amazing. I love it so much. We'll talk about it when we get to it. But yeah, but poor Kinta, I love his character a lot. And I'm glad that Kinta just kind of like goes with the flow, kind of like Ira. Again, Raziel, you have opened the doors you've opened with this crack ship. I'm like, now that somebody's validated it, I'm like, let's go all in. Because yeah, like Ira and Kinta both just casually being like, well, yes, we have been chosen. And when Ira's like, it's about being popular, I'm like, well, Kinta thinks that same thing too. So y'all are made for one another. Works out so great. But yeah, so this episode's called Hey, It's Kaiju. And we have Gigi, which Gigi's such a helper. I like Gigi. They're like, we'll regroup at my place. So they were headed back to Momo's house. I love Gigi. I just feel like the mangaka doesn't have much for Gigi to do. Because Evil Eye is a baby and has not learned things. And is supposed to grow fast, but has not. I mean, Evil Eye's made some progress in this episode in comparison to where they were 2 episodes ago, but it is a slow progress. But just the mangaka, I feel like the mangaka kind of maybe wrote themselves into a corner with Gigi. And I'm just looking at this from a writing perspective because I study writing, I teach it. You can pick out tropes. You can kind of see when authors get in corners and you kind of see what they do. And you're like, you're in a corner, so I see what you're doing. And I feel like the mangaka is in a corner with Gigi and they're like, I can't have this happen because Evil Eye is wrote this way and I need time to pass before Evil Eye can be useful. Otherwise, it won't seem natural. It won't make sense to the story. So I'm just going to make them go over here for now. And we'll have Kinta come in and Kinta can do things because Gigi cannot do things. And that's fine. I love Gigi's character. It's just, when writing's really good, you never notice these things. And when you start to notice it, you're like, there it is. So it is what it is. It's just my own personal preference with everything. But I do like that they get very shonen-y in this episode when we talk about like melee and close range combat and stuff. It felt like Bleach. Again, I'm getting lots of Bleach vibes as you may see. But yeah, I loved Ira using her hair to like make the bandage over the silky bandage over the kaiju's eyes, and then the kaiju, heat burned it off, which sucked. But the lightning and the laser was crazy. It was pretty good animation there. My one thing, and we've talked about this in the comments, is that like collateral damage, it's a thing. And it just happens in this series. And we talked, of little tiny critiques of DanDaDan. I feel like one critique is that they don't do anything with the collateral damage. They just are like, anime shonen logic. And I was like, okay, but I'm watching a lot of realistic shows on the channel right now. And so that just kind of, you have to like switch your goggles being like, oh, we're watching shonen fun, shonen chaos. That's what we're watching. Mm-hmm. So the realism aspect is not dialed in with DanDaDan as much as it is in other series. And that's fine. That's totally a stylistic thing. Like, Ira taking all of these cars and just throwing them. I just imagine somebody the next day is like, my Pontiac. It's gone. But yeah, I love the animation. I will never, ever complain about Momo, Ira, and Okarun working together. The three of them work so well off each other. It's so funny. And it's hilarious because Ira thinks they're in a love triangle. They are not. Okarun doesn't like Ira. So it's funny. Also, I've not seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure before, but will say, I would imagine if I had that Ira would fit right in as a character. Maybe Hunter x Hunter's a better observation with the long hair. I feel like she'd be like in Crollo's gang with Hunter x Hunter or something like that. I need to go back and rewatch that series at some point to know. But the animation with Ira's hair and the kaiju, I love the pink and green. Like those colors go together so well. This episode was very visually appealing, especially the animation of Ira when the kaiju grabbed her and her hair like flew everywhere and her mask broke. That animation was gorgeous. And then I love the idea of them throwing the billboards and like the Adidas billboard just like pops against him. Hilarious. Really funny. This episode would have been a lot of fun to animate. I imagine the animators were having a really good time with this episode because there's lots of hair movement and just like different lasers and things being thrown. It's just a really fun episode. I like it a lot. So yeah. So as far as discussing what happens in the episode, the kaiju fights them, shoots the lasers, and I do like Okarun geeking out. I love the continuity of Okarun geeking out while he's holding the magazine when Kinta first met him. I love when DanDaDan does a callback. That's a lot of fun. And that's what it does in this episode. I love Okarun's like, well, it's evolved to survive in space. And, maybe it converts an unknown cosmic energy into electrical energy using its horn. And you see the little advertisement talking about the horn. And the fact that Kinta has also looked at the same magazine, so he has knowledge of that too. Love it. If we can get to the light source, we could stop it. Yeah, God, the lighting and shadows in this episode, I could take so many screenshots. They're so beautiful. So yeah, and then I love Momo standing up and she uses her psychic powers. That part is really good to like go back and like shoot the lightning bolt right back to the kaiju. So then the kaiju becomes invisible. And one thing that's kind of cool in the continuity is that when Ira gets attacked, Momo's sitting there screaming, but Okarun is he says Ira-chan, but he doesn't yell it. He doesn't get emotional because he's in turbo granny mode. He just kind of is like, what a bummer. Like, Ira, don't get killed. It's really funny, but it's also in character and I really appreciate it. So yeah, meanwhile, while they're facing this kaiju, the kaiju roars up to the stars. And I was like, is the kaiju A, going to be getting a spirit bomb ready, B, calling other kaiju to the planet, which would be a problem, or C, just yelling to the stars? A little bit worried about that. Meanwhile, outside the barrier, it's just now getting to sunset. And we cut back to Gigi and Kinta. Now, to Kinta's credit, if that had all just gone down and I had just witnessed a giant, kaiju and seen my friends turn into supernatural monsters to fight it, damn it, what's up with this would be a pretty obvious question to ask. And what he says about Gigi, though, is so, not true. He's like, oh, well, don't drop sweat. And Gigi, who is a golden retriever, a human golden retriever, is like, please don't drip sweat on me. I really don't want to get that on me, sir. And he's like, how horrible. This handsome guy is the worst. He puts up a good front, but looks down on people. I love the miscommunication as they're running. Gigi doesn't want the sweat on him because he will turn into the evil eye. Kinta thinks that he's being like a narcissist and saying, don't get your peasant sweat on me. And he's like, oh, look at this guy who he thinks he is, this handsome dude. And it's like, no, miscommunication. Y'all aren't understanding each other. And Gigi tries to explain that to him. He's like, it's nothing like that. He's like, take my sweat and my snot. He's like, stop, please, seriously. I'll end up becoming a complicated pow, pow, pow. I get that Gigi didn't want to say what would happen, but I'm like, Gigi, I love you. You're the sweetest bean, the bestest boy. But at this point, the guy you're carrying on your back has, 1, seen an alien kaiju, 2, seen Ira and Okarun transform into supernatural beings, you can tell him that you will turn into a monster if you get cold water on him. You can tell him these things. You can do it, Gigi. I have faith in you. And it seemed like a miscommunication just to belabor the point, and then it happens. Now, Gigi, good for him. He manages to keep, like, Evil Eye back just a little bit, which was great, and I felt really good for Gigi. And he's like, please don't do that. And then, in that moment, for whatever reason, reasons we don't know or get explanation for, Kinta shakes like a damn dog and gets sweat all over him, and he instantly turns into Evil Eye. Now, to Gigi's credit, and thankfully for Gigi, Evil Eye does not immediately rip off his clothes. Instead, he rips the backpack off of him and chucks it to oblivion. You know, as one does. Destroys a building. A family could be dead, but wasn't it funny? And Kinta's like, what the fudge? He's like, are you someone like Takakura? Exactly. And then he's like, he just wants to murder people. Now, why he asks about Momo, I'm like, why does Evil Eye care about Momo? He doesn't. He just wants to fight, unless that's Gigi filtering through Evil Eye to care about Momo. Unless that's the case. Otherwise, in character, it doesn't really make sense. But they did say to regroup at her house. And maybe Evil Eye only cares because that means he can fight Okarun, and he thinks this is Tuesday, but it's not Tuesday. Kinta wouldn't know which day to fight him, so then he leaves. So they managed to get poor Okarun. He's gone turbo 2 times, so he can't transform again. So she's like, we need to get out of here. And then they realize the backpack I don't know if they realized it was Gigi's backpack, but they head back to the house. And then she's like, we have our barrier, so would this place be okay? Ira pretending to be glued like a koala to Okarun. I love Momo was like, get off of him. Which poor Okarun, he had to carry her that whole way thinking she was unconscious because he was being a gentleman. Ira. So yeah. So anyway, then there's Evil Eye, and Evil Eye's like, fight me. And they're like, oh, well, improvements. He has clothes on, but we can't fight Evil Eye. Okarun can't transform. What do? We've told him it's not the right day. Is he going to try to kill all of us? Kinta's standing here. What do we do with this? But there's no time to worry about that because the kaiju is coming to the house to try to kill them. So Seiko's in a different prefecture for a TV show. She's like, it'd be nice if we knew about the kaiju's weakness or something. And that's when Okarun remembers that they built the house with the telepathic clay that can read their thoughts and transform. So, no time to worry about things because the kaiju is just beelining towards them, and Kinta's like, it's coming, like a damn T-Rex from Jurassic Park. What are we gonna do? And they say, okay, Evil Eye will get taken care of by Okarun, and Perv, get over here. I like that she calls him Perv instead of Kinta. So they're thinking about what they need to do in this moment, and Okarun's like, look, we're going to mold this clay, this space clay, to be something that can fight the monster. It's literally, it's like that scene from Ghostbusters where they're like, choose the form of the Destructor. And they're like, it could be anything. Just use your imagination. And then Ray imagines the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I love that Momo gets that moment where she just imagines it as a Buddha. She's like, that's all I could think of. It just popped into my head. It's my favorite part of Ghostbusters. And I love that the nanoskin moment kind of gives us this here. So in this moment, I love the creativity, and I love that DanDaDan has this moment where in character, it makes total sense that Okarun has the vision, but he gets too scatterbrained to commit, which ties to Okarun's like lack of confidence at times that he's still working on. And Kinta, who secretly has quite a lot of confidence, has the Riz, is like, hold my glasses. I've got a vision. And I love how in character it is, and it makes sense because he had the whole scene where he had the Gundam model kits. He walked around with the Gundam last episode, which is my favorite scene of the whole episode. And then the idea that he's like, I've got the vision. I can vision, and it becomes like Power Rangers. So obviously, if we had the Power Rangers, Ira would be the Pink Ranger, clearly. Okarun would be the Blue Ranger, clearly. Then you have, I mean, you could make Momo the Yellow Ranger, I suppose. I would almost make her the Red Ranger. But you can make her the Yellow Ranger if you wanted to. And then you have the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger. Gigi would be the Green Ranger, I think. And then Kinta would be the Red Ranger. Yeah, that seems... Yeah, because if you have Kinta as the Red Ranger, you'd have Ira as the Pink Ranger. You'd have Gigi as the Green Ranger. Okarun is blue. Momo's yellow. Power Rangers assemble. We got this. And then Turbo Granny would be Rita Repulsa. I feel like I'm 5 again. Like, Power Rangers was huge when I was like 5 years old. Yes. Mm-hmm. Secret of the Ooze would be right up there with DanDaDan Chaos. So I've got like Free Ride in my head now thinking about that. But I love it. I love the idea of the mech. And I love DanDaDan's creativity of making the mech out of the nanoskin. I think that's so clever. I love that. It's like, well, how do we fight this kaiju? Well, all of us by ourselves are not big enough and not powerful enough to take on this alien. But if we work together, teamwork, and make this kaiju, then we can do it. Which is going to be chaos next episode. Mainly because of Evil Eye. Again, Evil Eye has nothing to do in this episode. So he just sits under the table and just sulks like a toddler. But it almost felt out of character. Because I was like, shouldn't Evil Eye be just walking around, like, doing whatever, and they're just sitting under the table? Whatever. Glad we're reforming this former sociopath, psychological killer. Glad we're reforming him one episode at a time. So, yeah, I love the fact, and Ira watching Gigi as Evil Eye like she watches Chiquita. I mean, maybe there's hope for that shit, but I don't want her to, like, view Evil Eye as an infant that she has to watch over. I don't think that's good for Gigi and her having a romantic relationship, but who knows? I really want Ira to be with Kinta. I think that would be amazing. The vision is clear. Then it's like, who would Gigi to be with? But Gigi, who knows? Maybe, I don't know, maybe the class president or somebody will be Gigi's friend. Who knows? But anyway, so I like them all working together to make this Voltron-esque mech to fight the kaiju. Meanwhile, Evil Eye just says he wants to murder everybody. But Kinta is MVP of these last 2 episodes. Kinta was like, I have the vision. Let me do this before we get crushed by the house. If it's an image of something big, leave it to me. Nanomachines are from sci-fi, and if we're talking sci-fi, I'm your guy. I love Kinta. Kinta and Okarun and Momo are probably my 3 favorites right now. I love them. They are so fun. And Kinta just blends right in with the group. I love when he just has the big pose with the glasses. It's so good. Now, if we're talking about construction, if we're talking about it, when they built the house, it did take them a while to spread out the nanoskins and do all that, but I'll give it a pass because it was already constructed and they're just reimagining it. So that's fine. The logistics, it's a shonen anime. It's fine. We're good with that. But Evil Eye, I just want to murder people. Oh my God. He's like, here's my imagination. I do love that they each like Ira goes down the corridors and then Evil Eye goes down the chute. Kinta falls backwards. I love the animation of Ogrun sliding through the tunnel. Momo gets lifted up. Like, so creative. And going through there into the bathroom. And she's like, I don't want to fall down. And instead she gets sent up. Love it. Also, I guess because Evil Eye is technically like a deity, he sparkles. He's like, I want to kill. Like, what do I do? I'm a little bit worried that Evil Eye is going to do something very stupid next episode just to make it convenient for them not to immediately trounce the kaiju. But we'll see. But I love all of them falling into place. I did like when Okarun went through the water tunnel and they like came out. It was very Evangelion. And then the hair dryers all blowing his hair out felt like Casper the movie, like the live action Casper movie. It felt like that. So the references were all over the place. I loved it. But yeah, all making it. I love the temple shrine entrance becomes part of the gear and everything. And then they're like, why do we look like a Buddha? And Momo's like, that's me. That's my imagination. So it says the Great Kinta Bosatu Z version. Roboto Takaite. It says Mina, science fiction. Then we have something on here. Oreha. And then there's like a bunch of different parts to it. I love it. I love it. Nice. 35,000 teratons. And I honestly, the idea of DanDaDan becoming this mech versus kaiju battle, if you had asked me where this season finale was going of facing the kaiju, first of all, wouldn't have imagined a kaiju for the season finale. Wouldn't have imagined that at all, to be honest. I thought we were going to get the Keto family coming back into this, but apparently not. Apparently the Keto family is going to be left for season 3 and beyond, which is so mind-blowing. I did not see that coming. But if you told me that next week we were going to have a giant Buddha statue fighting a kaiju, I would have been like, but how? But it all makes sense. It all works out. The creativity is so good. I love it. It's wonderful. Also, I did not imagine, it's crazy. I would not have imagined Kinta like cursing where he just says like, damn it in English, which is wild. He's like, it's fine because I'm currently writing in a robot. And then I was like, shut up and stop shouting. I'm not mature enough to stay quiet with a robot in front of me. I love that Kinta and Okarun have different reactions whenever something like sci-fi is in front of Okarun, he like fanboys and gets all excited. And Kinta's like, I get more immature and loud. So I love it. They're great. But yeah. And then I'm sure this is a reference to him like holding his face a certain way with the mech and whatever. But he's like, yes, I have bestowed upon you a name. Yes, it was me. Let's go. Great kin. And then he's like, how do I move this thing? Yeah, he's like, how do we move? But they didn't imagine that, so I'm sure they're going to use their imaginations with the nanoskins next episode and figure it all out. But that's going to be what we get. So there's not a lot to talk about with this episode, honestly, past the fact that it was just the battle itself. But again, I love Kinta's character. His character is amazing. I think he's so much fun and he's so creative and he's just a big ball of energy right now. And he has layers. I like that. I like that already. We're already getting layers with Kinta's character and I approve. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this battle goes because the 5 of them have to work together. And so far, Evil Eye wants to kill everybody and just wants to fight Okarun. Okarun and Momo work in sync really well. Okarun and Iroh work in sync really well. Iroh and Momo can get along when they need to for the sake of Okarun, but having the 5 of them have to coordinate and work together and see what the mechanics of this is all going to be next episode. I just imagine Seiko walks back up and she's just like, like, Manjiro, you got an extra room available? So anyway, I'm really excited for the season finale. I can't believe it's already here. It's going to be crazy. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. Thank you for your comments and your kind words. I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below. And I'll see y'all next week where we have the season finale of DanDaDan. And I'll see you then. Bye.